You ain't gonna ask me a question? Oh, damn.
He waits. He likes to wait until he's got the
Bro, you
question.
tapped me in play mode and I broke my hand. What happens if I ask the wrong question and you punch me? I'm just taking.
You wear short shorts.
I'm telling you,
Jeez.
they're making a resurgence.
You know what? Hold on. I might as well just
I don't
pull
even
my
think.
shit up. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
Now you gotta say something. Man.
Listen, man, I read the Bible a lot when they talk about David and Goliath. I've never seen a giant, and so like I'm literally just I'm a little taken.
You've been sitting over here for 30 minutes and that's all you can freaking say? Fucking kidding me.
Now he's not gonna say
That's the
shit.
question. Jeez.
I'm just sitting.
Are you drunk?
Not yet.
Not
Yeah, we're gonna get
Jeez.
Edgy George later tonight.
I have one question. Is there
Okay,
any
thank you.
chance I can, for 2 seconds, put these up so I can hear what's going on?
Take them all. You don't have to ask
Why
the
you asking
producer.
Dylan?
Just take things off.
Okay.
You've been on this show.
I feel like I just fucked up everybody's vibe.
you
I am
did.
so
They
sorry.
love it.
I'm like right next to them, but I can't hear anything in this. So I've been like
He's your
trying, and
partner
then
on
the
your
worst.
podcast?
Let's give George a round of applause. Real
the
quick.
new
Get him
guy.
back. Get him
Hold on,
back in the game.
He's your partner?
He's the newest.
You might want to give him his 2-week notice. That's the question, dude.
Honestly,
Jeez.
no, it's not how it works in this shit. You don't even get a 2-week notice. You're fired, brother.
Speak.
No, come on, Georgie. The audience they love how awkward he is.
Nah, I just couldn't hear you guys. I'm the closest one in the room, but I could not hear a word, so I was just doing this.
So
the
now
whole
that
time.
you can hear,
Any question.
you have a question for Shaq.
Yeah, can we fucking move on so I can so I can jump in? But for 2 years of my life recently was the hardest years of my life. I gained 40 pounds of weight. I was really, honestly, if I was not Christian, I'd probably be suicidal. And it was really, really bad. I never told anybody about it. And it was pissing me off because it was the most exciting years of my life. I was getting everything I've ever dreamt about. Money was no longer an issue. Not that it ever was even. Like, I just couldn't understand why I got everything that I've ever prayed for, but yet I was so unbelievably depressed. And I never let anybody know because I was always the guy who tried to make people laugh. Dude, like, I didn't even know I was going to be with my best friends doing a podcast where, and I don't mean this in a cocky way, but like, dude, this put me on a very strong map. And it made a lot of my avenues blow up. So I'm
It's
very
like
blessed, but I didn't know I was going to be here. So
It's like that's. You done? It was just a long monologue.
He was just waiting.
And let me just say something. I loved what you were saying. It was just very long. Yeah,
That's usually me. That's usually.
But you know, I got what you're saying, and you really inspired me, George. Can I say something?
Comedians suck.
No.
I hate comedians.
No, I want to say something.
Sebastian sucked, left me on red.
Yeah.
You
Can I-
suck. First of all, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Do not
Okay,
touch
my
me.
bad, my bad.
Thank you.
All right, but yeah, we just need writers to edit that down. There are certain.
He is clocked out.
Yeah,
he's-
I know.
George has been under a tremendous amount of abuse.
No,
No, stop, George. I want you over here with me. George, I want you over here. Chase him down. Go. You find him, George. No, go get him. Go get him. I said this. He walked, and that's a first. And now we're gonna have to deal with the fallout of this episode for the next 2 months. I swear to God, Bobby Lee, you pissed off my co-host. He's probably crying in the driveway.
That attitude right there was just unprofessional.
It was a bit unprofessional.
It was unprofessional.
Yeah, it was.
Listen, I'm a guest, right? I feel hurt and abandoned.
I know.
I feel rejected.
Me too.
And this was fucked up, bro. All right. So if he doesn't come, because I got to go now.
No,
I know.
We got-
If
we
he doesn't
the
come back
5.
here, if he doesn't come back here by the time I'm done,
I'm walking too.
No, get him.
What the fuck?
One that really hurt me is you told me I need a therapist because I believe in Jesus. That one hurt me.
No, I didn't. I said you need a therapist because Jesus isn't quite doing it for you,
No, you
which
didn't.
is
No, you
which
didn't.
is true.
No, you didn't.
I said,
I don't want to stand down. No, you didn't.
You think I said you need
not
a
what I
therapist because
think.
you
I
believe
checked
in
you and I said,
Jesus?
"What did you just say to me?" And you said, "What did I say?" And you stumbled. And you're like, "I don't know. What would I say?" And then you fumbled. I'm not backing down from
It
this.
is common knowledge that you don't interpret reality like reality happens,
Mhm.
and you heard that incredibly wrong. You think
So
I
then what
said you
do I
need
need
a
to-
therapist because you believe in Jesus?
What do I need a therapist for then?
Jesus isn't doing it for you, and I
what do
believe
I need a
you're.
therapist for?
I don't believe you're as emotionally mature as you could be
Then what do I need Jesus for? I mean, what do I need a therapist for?
to get you to level up
In what?
yourself.
In what category? So when you think George needs a therapist, what category am I falling under?
Emotional intelligence.
Emotional. Me.
Yes.
I'm not emotionally intelligent. Could you pick a time and frame any day of our
Sure.
life.
Here's one. 3 weeks ago, when you were sitting in that chair, you stormed off this exact podcast because you're upset about something a comedian said.
No, I was upset that I finally discussed.
Listen, I
that
just
was-
answered your question. I'm not looking for rationalization about the thing. I just answered your question.
Also,
so what
you
are what are trying to
said
say?
in the past that you like it when people storm off. So I asked you, if I get upset and I want to storm off, is it cool? And you said absolutely.
Georgie, you left, bro.
I'm going to jump in on
You
that one.
laugh.
I'm not sure that that's representative of emotional intelligence. What happens in content is content, bro. It could be entertainment. There's a million things.
Just before I go on, a quick shout out to the family of the dead Japanese guy in Logan Paul's now infamous suicide forest video, as well as all the victims of Logan's CryptoZoo scam. Talk about emotional intelligence. What a guy. But I will say a couple of things before I break down the fake feud behind all of this. In that Bobby Lee episode where George walked out, I think they were all kind of wrong and right at the same time. This is one of the major problems with comedians and podcasters pushing out so much content on a weekly basis. For Bobby Lee, he always has to be funny. That's his whole shtick. He talks shit and it's awkward funny. So here comes Janko trying to turn the podcast into a therapy session, and Bobby Lee kinda has to make fun of him. You might disagree with that, but I think that's how Bobby Lee sees it, at least. He's constantly looking for opportunities and openings to say something funny at anyone's expense. Then there's Logan and Mike. They're constantly drama farming to get views so they can cash in on that ad money. So they're walking this fine line between facilitating drama and keeping everyone happy. In the end, you have this blend of fake drama and hurt feelings where no one knows where one ends and the other begins. And I think that's actually a good segue into the underlying fake feud between Logan, Jake, and George. So let's break it down. A lot has been said of George's falling out with Logan and Mike, but here's what I really think happened. After working together over a whole bunch of episodes, it became obvious to all of them that the energy wasn't right. The dynamic was off. And I don't think that's anyone's fault in particular. I've produced over 300 episodes of podcasts myself, and sometimes what you think will work just doesn't, and what you think won't work sometimes turns out great. It's just how it goes when you have big personalities involved. It can be unpredictable. So then I think they came to an agreement that it wasn't working and decided to play up the feud for clicks and views. That's not to say that there wasn't any truth behind all of it. There clearly was, but no one knows how to turn a small disagreement into full-blown internet drama like Logan Paul does. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a clip from Impulsive after George Janko decided to start his own podcast and branch off.
Georgie started his own podcast, and I think it's a great idea. I always love when my co-hosts venture out and do their own things. And you'll come to learn that podcasting is such a cathartic, therapeutic, and forum for personal growth. Being able to talk at length and just express yourself and articulate your ideas is an incredible gift. And podcasting is an amazing tool for making that happen. I actually recommend, this is odd because not everyone can do this, but that everyone start a podcast if you have the means to do so. But I love that you did that. But his first podcast was called what was it like?
Why Impulsive mistreated
No.
me? and I-
Why I wasn't on Impulsive? Why George Janko isn't on Impulsive? Because I wasn't. I was
No. That worked. It was the thumbnail, motherfucker.
X through the faces.
You black and white Impulsive, a little canceled through the logo.
It's not my fault. You guys fired me.
No, because that's what you said on your show too. You said you walked in a room and we were doing a seance.
With Mike's books as the fifth vital.
Bro.
Yo, you know
People don't get your sarcasm.
It wasn't
dude.
sarcasm, bro. It was real, bro.
No, you have to stop.
Listen, okay, I'll stop.
Yo, they literally.
Bro, you have to stop.
But let me say this one thing. The disinformation on the internet is absolutely crazy because once that started going viral, they went and dug up the clip of the time when you were like, read the sign. And I walked off the show and I was like, all right, bro, do the show by yourself. Have a good show. Dude, it got like 1 million likes on TikTok and it got even as high up, crazy to say this, as Patrick Bet David. Patrick Bet David saw the clips, He said he's having trouble with George. He's having trouble with Mike, and he needs to take a 90-day break.
But I'm very happy we're all in the same room, guys. I love you guys so much, seriously. And like, I think part of any friendship is tribulation. And sure, we had some bumps, but like, I'll just be honest, using it for clickbait isn't cool. I'm just kidding. No, I love that you started your show. Guys, George started a podcast. He doesn't know the name of it yet.
I do. I think I have a name.
No,
Okay.
don't do that.
So, like I said, it's obvious even just from that clip that there were some underlying issues there, but they all leaned into it for clicks. They would have discussed the issue with their dynamic and then strategized as to how to get more views out of it and turn it into an ongoing feud. The problem is they're too stupid to keep it a secret. They literally explained that it's all just for clicks. So then we have Jake entering the chat on his own podcast last week. He started complaining that the podcast isn't getting enough views. So he started brainstorming in real time and thought of getting George Janko on his podcast to piss off Logan and feed off the ongoing feud.
Crushing it.
Life's good.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
Our views are still shit on this channel, though. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
We gotta figure this shit out.
Controversy. I gotta beat like an old
Yeah,
man
yeah.
up or
You
something.
should do that on the show.
If I go to jail,
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
that'll boost the numbers.
Yeah.
Jasper goes to jail.
free Jasper. Enter.
Maybe we should bring George Janko on as a co-host.
Wow. Ooh.
Wow.
This is a good idea.
Yeah, let's do
We
that.
should do a George Janko episode, since we're already like, might as well. If we're shaking the fucking pot, I've stayed silent on like my support for George because I didn't want Logan to look bad, but now I'm like supporting one of his enemies now, and how is he gonna take it? But he's partnered with an enemy. But then, oh wow, like let's flip the tables and see how he
Partnered
likes
with
it,
a enemy
and maybe
or
put
all
him
these
through
enemies?
what I'm fucking have to deal with all the fucking time. How do you like it, Paul?
Your Paul.
See, now I'm just fucking going off.
Go off. Come on, talk your shit, man.
Yeah, because part of me feels like we didn't really say a lot that should be said. I don't know. I feel like we might get to the cut. We can always cut shit out, but I feel like we might get to the cut and be like, damn, wish would have said that. I don't know. Isn't Keith here?
So these guys are literally sitting around trying to come up with ideas to grow their views, which feuds they can feed off, who they can piss off, how they can start new drama, and it's all fake. But I said at the beginning of this video that everyone was focusing on Jake calling out George to come and be a co-host on his podcast, and there was a bit that people were missing. When George was addressing Jake's offer on his own podcast, he actually broke down the so-called feud between Logan and Jake, and I thought his take was absolutely spot on. Take a look.
I think the way Logan handled Jake's win or loss was disrespectful. But I think that they've came to this situation where their private life and their business life and their personal life, it gets blended in together. Now, the situation that Logan's dealing with his girlfriend and Dylan, the dentist, the menace, and then the situation with Jake and Logan, to me, are completely different. There's a guy out there that's trying to break a home between him and his girl. And then you have your brother. Now, I get you guys, you've had this in your career where you guys go after each other. And now that I'm kind of like the man out of the picture, I want to say this from a loving heart. Keep it between you guys. Don't put it on camera anymore. I know Jake did that because he had to really stick up for like what Logan did. He had to kind of put his heart out there to let people know how he felt.
Yeah.
But keep it between you guys. You guys are brothers. I don't want the money or the fame or the access. Because remember, you guys have two camps, right? You guys have your people, and then he has his people. And those people could whisper the wrong things in your ears. This is your guys' home. All the people that you look at, your brand managers, your camera guy, all those people were not there when you guys were sharing each other's first birthdays, fifth birthdays, sixth birthdays, high school. You know, all that's family. You can't get rid of your family. So keep it between you guys. You guys love each other. I know you guys love each other. It could get competitive and it could get crazy in this world that you guys live in. But never, ever, ever forget that you guys, at the end of the day, you guys came through the same bloodline. Don't let this world tear you guys apart. Your mom and dad worked way too hard for you guys as kids to stick together, for you guys to, when you guys get to where you're at, to separate yourselves. Now, I know there's personal things that are happening between you guys behind closed doors. If you guys want to make it work, keep it behind closed doors.
But dude, no, just real quick, no. I think Jake really tried to do what you're saying though. Like he tried
No,
to
I know,
keep it.
I know, he did.
But you could even tell in that last podcast, like he was so reluctant to talk about Logan in any even slightly negative like way.
Yeah, he
But
had a hard
no
time.
choice.
Yeah.
And honestly, his co-host Jasper was kind of like almost forcing him to say something.
Again, bro, they're brothers, and I think that they're just such fucking workhorses. You get what I'm saying? Like people forget that they're just from the moment their eyes wake up to the moments their eyes close, they're grinding. So, of course, you're gonna get emotional in this game, and I think at the end of the day, bro, you get really comfortable with your brother, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. I pray to God that they could figure it out because that'd be a shame. You know what I mean? Like you could make a lot of mistakes, but you don't ever want to make the mistake of going against family and having that ability of not being able to make it up.
Yeah, that shouldn't be his enemy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Just quickly, so I don't forget, I want to say that George Janko is much better on his own podcast without Mike and Logan. They definitely suppressed his personality and brought out the worst in him at times. So, like I said earlier, the dynamic is just off sometimes, but now he seems to have his confidence back and seems more present on his own podcast where he's in control. But the main thing I took from what he just said is that Logan and Jake don't know where their actual beef ends and the fake feud starts. And this is what generally happens in these situations. It starts as something small and then everyone involved agrees to play it up for the views. And then before you know it, shit gets too personal and they forget where all of it started in the first place. It's almost like schoolyard shit. And I think George was basically calling both of them out to get the balance right and not forget that even though they might play things up for attention, they have to remember that they're family at the end of the day, and that's the most important thing. I think George has so much more that he could say about how these guys work behind the scenes, particularly Logan, but like he said, he can't talk about it for legal reasons. It's so obvious that he desperately wants to lay out all of Logan's dirty laundry and let everyone see how fake his whole life is, but he can't because Logan will just sue the shit out of him. If you don't already know, Logan makes all his close friends and workers sign non-disclosure agreements so they can't reveal shit about him and how he operates behind the scenes. That within itself tells you everything you need to know. So credit to George for handling this situation pretty well in the end. I hope he goes on Jake's podcast. Maybe they can get each other going for Jake to spill more shit about Logan. Remember, the only one who isn't bound by an NDA from Logan is his brother Jake. So technically, Jake can say whatever the fuck he wants. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Remember, best comment gets pinned. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button and become a subscriber so you can keep up to date with all of my latest videos. I'll chat to you guys soon. See you in the next one.
We could just leave it there, maybe.
Do you think you and your brother will ever fight each other?
No, I'm not fighting him.
Yeah.
He's the better fighter.